With the conclusion of the CS matches here at WCG 2009 in Chengdu, China, we are sitting here with EG.n0thing of our CS team, and they had actually a very tough but disappointing loss to MTW. So how did you feel about your general play throughout this tournament?
Well, I was actually pretty happy overall. This kind of leads back to the fact what I was going to say is with our practice. Like, I was happy in a sense that I felt like we could have beaten MTW, and they're a very good team, and I feel like we played probably as good as we could have with Travis, who we don't practice much. So what I was going to say, though, I think it leads back kind of, though, to the practice we have in the States, and I feel like it's tough when we don't play many teams who make us really pay for our mistakes. So when we come into these big matches, I feel like we're definitely prepared. We don't really get too intimidated at all by any of these big teams. So I think for us, the only real disappointing thing is that we lose with such small things when we rethink about it. It was like a eco round or something where we were up 5-on-3 and all of a sudden 3 of us go down, 1 bolted on train. I think it was second round on CT side, and it's just stuff like that that's so disappointing because we know if we made up and won those didn't make those little mistakes, we probably could have won the match. And I feel like if we probably had better practice, it might have helped. But there's no excuses really. And other than that, I feel pretty happy with our performance up until that.
All right, and now for your actual individual maps against MTW. I know you had a pretty solid performance in your group play, just completely wiping the floor after your matches with Hellraisers. So did that confidence actually carry into your first map?
Well, no, not really. I mean, the thing is, we already knew those teams that we played aside from Hellraisers were low seed teams. So it was more like we knew we had to win, but we didn't let up. If we had beaten Hellraisers, I'm sure we'd have played a lot more lackluster versus the next 3 teams. But after we had lost them, we knew we had to go 3-0, so we kept our composure, and we just beat them. I think most of our confidence going into the MTW match just came from us knowing that we could eliminate the map we didn't want to play, which was Dust 2, and just talk about Train, Nuke, and Inferno as much as we could. And we were already confident as it is, and the map choice ended up being in our favor because we actually had looked at a couple of demos from the night before from those maps we ended up playing, so we were pretty confident.
So for your second match, I know it was actually pretty close, right? It was, I forget the final score for your second map. The second map.
The best of 3?
Right. So what do you think happened that caused you to, I mean, was it just a bunch of little mistakes, or did you just kind of feel like you might have been outplayed or at that point? Because obviously you could beat them as shown in the first map. So what do you think happened?
Well, like I said, not much practice. So anytime certain things occur, adapting versus a top team like that is hard enough it is. And I think on Nuke, our CT side we just weren't able to clearly see what was happening every round. I mean, we knew they were taking upper from us quick, and they just a lot of flashes. And right when they would take upper, they would pinch us from outside, and it was like we just kept not getting the kills we needed to, and they kept that flow throughout the whole half. I think it was 12-3, and the only rounds we won was pistol and 2 just random gun rounds where they just rushed into us. So it was tough, and I think we could have won on T side like we saw, but it was tough for us. We had just no practice.
And with Matt's recent announcement on his retirement, how did you feel? Did that have any impact on how you played at all? I mean, since you knew that it would probably be Matt's, or it would be Matt's last LAN event or anything with you guys.
I mean, I think occasionally it probably struck us like, I knew Matt was constantly saying like, I don't want to get out of this, and I probably just motivated us a little, We weren't really depressed while we were playing or anything. It didn't make us play worse. I mean, outside the game maybe we were a little bummed, but I think it just gave us a little extra motivation. It's his last tournament, so we really wanted to go far with him and give him a better placement, but tough loss, man, yeah.
So now that he actually has retired. So what can we expect from the EGCS team?
Well, I mean, we're gonna be picking up a new player pretty soon here, and that'll be announced pretty quick, probably. And I think DreamHack is next for us. We're gonna be heading over to Sweden in about a week and a half from now, with our new player. So that's next. You'll see it.
And I know you guys have been out actually doing a lot of traveling. Has that affected you guys at all? Are you a little homesick?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it gets tough because it's like when you're on a good organization as EG and you're able to travel around a lot, you always have the opportunities to continue to go to as many tournaments, and sometimes you just don't go home at all because it's like, all right, we're only going to go back home for 2 days or something. So normally I just stay in Dallas with the team. So, I mean, I guess occasionally, you try to, as long as you don't think about it, it doesn't affect you as much. But me personally, I definitely get to a point where I miss home. But like I said, I can't think about it because mental game is a big part of any competitive sport. And it's like, you just got to try to stay focused and positive because that's the only way you're gonna play to your top form.
All right, thanks to your time. It seems like we have some promising things coming for the future of EGCS. So make sure you stay tuned at myeg.net for what's to come. Thanks, Jordan.